today we have such a very special guest. He's a rapper. He's a YouTuber. He's such like a barber owner. He's such an entrepreneurship spirit. This is Daboyway. สวัสดีครับ
What's up, buddy? Sawadee Krab. How are you, JJ? How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging there. So apart from this podcast itself, I'm doing all right. How are you, sir?
Okay, not bad. Between being at home and being in the studio,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, no complaints.
The main reasons why I choose or that I select you as my guest because I have a great admiration, like what I just say, like because you have run a lot of business, but also kind of like many role to fill, and all of that is like really difficult. From again, an entrepreneur, CEO to like a barbershop to an executive producer, and a father, which is a huge role to fill, I think, and especially those times.
Yeah.
And I
It sounds like a lot of full-time jobs.
It is. I mean, it kind of does, but then also like you have to kind of like please, try to help out the other, but also please all your crew at the same time. But like, okay, let's move on with this like crisis. But I think the main question is like, how did you like navigate, or like try to stay sane in this insane situations?
Well, when like I was in the middle of dropping an album, my debut album, around on March 6th, and we were supposed to like plan like an event and stuff around for the album. And when like the numbers around the neighboring countries of Thailand were starting to spike up, and it became like a concern for people to, travel even domestically and internationally, I just decided to halt all, I just put the album on hold, and and the safety of everybody, my guests were more the concern. And then like I think the week after,
right,
we closed down the barbershops. We announced that we would close the barbershops to help flatten the curve. I was actually in the middle of like that whole month of March was like a big transition between moving house and album. And then when I found out that I couldn't move back in my house, and then I had like stop all promotion for my album, I just decided to head down to Samui. And I spent a month in Samui with my family and my nieces.
Right. Okay.
So I just stopped, and actually, I wish things would have turned out differently. But I was kind of happy in a way that I was able to like, take a step back and just like focus on what's really important, just like healthy and the safety of my family.
I'm gonna move forward to a little bit more like a music career side, because I think a lot of my friends and audience, because like this special COVID, I think like we basically having a lot of like, especially like an artist, I'm sure like you have, again, like what you said, like just in the middle of dropping your album, things have been cancelled, and it's also like a great disrupt. But like there's a lot of a voice, and I congratulate again to the Def Jam as a Def Jam Thailand as a executive producer. I'm very exciting because, and also as you say in Fang Jai article, I think I have briefly read about it, and I think maybe could you not recital, but like I think you have a great kind of sections of like saying what hip hop is, and also like why it's so exciting for a time in the way like to Thai hip hop artists or rapper itself to grooming their skills right now. Like what's their what are you exciting about?
One thing that's exciting about Thai hip hop is that there's a lot of raw young energy in Bangkok City right now and around the country of Thailand when it concerns hip hop. It's a very fast growing genre, and it's not just only in Thailand but worldwide.
Right.
So to see it and for people to accept it finally, and to see kids, that are so young now, like 15, they're starting really early by just practicing their skill and their craft, and a lot of them are good. When I was 15, I was nowhere near the kids that are 15 now. So just to see that, and to see the evolution and the growth over the years has been an amazing story in itself, just to see, because I've seen hip hop inside way beginning, and to see it now is like, yeah, it's the new norm.
Actually, well, I mean that actually very. I'm not surprised, but like in a way, because like I think there's a lot of connotations or like perceptions of like an old school being trashing. Well, maybe, let's say criticized than a new school. A lot of voices from, for example, like Snoop Dogg, cheating on like mumbling rap, or the use of synthesizers, or a lot of the voice manipulations in the rapping itself. But like it's interesting that like it felt like you kind of give actually quite positive vibe to the movement. Is it, or are you against or for?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it like this. Like, okay, I've been in the hip hop game for 20 years.
Right.
But 20 years ago, I was just a kid too, just like them, and trying to find my voice. And like, I get it. Like, the older cats and the older hip hop heads, they like, well, I came from this era where maybe it was just all about skill level and just, but over the years it's been skill, but now it's it's moved on to a new thing. Now I think it's a vibe, and it's not like skill, like lyrics. When I talk about skill, it's like lyricism, lyrics. Yeah, but it's been I think we've passed that chapter of it, where it's gotten so big that now there's so many different genres that you can make, but it stems from hip hop. They call it's urban music, where it's I think it all resonates from hip hop. So for it to grow, it's like putting a toy down, right? You're a father and you put a toy down, and your kid plays with it, and they play with it better, or they play with it differently than you, and for the people who still like old school music, or I'm a hip hop head, go back and listen to it. There can only be one Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean? There can only be, but there's a new whatever, but it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's their time. It's their generation, it's their time, and so we should be supportive.
One more thing, so because like again, I felt like people have been doing home studio lately, because obviously a lot of studio has been shut down. You can't access to it, and there's a rise of like YouTube tutorial and bunch of a great application that they can almost like a kid with a computer can be a great producer, right? But
you can learn anything online now.
Yes, literally, like but also like, and so many people have been asking me like, but then what's the functions, or like what's the need for a record label, because like they maybe it's like, oh, I got my own YouTube channel, I got my own productions or things like that. Oh, like but like how, for example, I'm not trying to say of like, oh, Def Jam is not needed, but then again, like, could you saying like what's the visions or sort of things that like you felt like people still need a record label?
I mean, there's good and bad with everything, like I've been an independent artist for 19 years. I know if anybody knows about independent, I know about independent, and it's what you do for yourself, you know what I'm saying? But I've also gained knowledge in those 19 years that if you know how to negotiate a deal, it can also work in your favor, and you can still have your independence. It's all about learning, the business aspect of the music and knowing what you can bring to the table and what the other side can bring to the table.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, for if, for a record label, they have certain points that they can help you with. They can open up a lot of doors internationally, or through their connections, because it's not like say say you have your team.
Right.
If you know how to work the deal, now you have another team to help you in what you want to do. But then I also understand the independent grind. If you out there and you get in it, and you know the business, and you know how to maneuver, and that's more power to you. Like that, I had to learn by myself. Nobody really taught me. It's just you trial and error.
Right.
You go through, you learn from your mistakes, and you try not to make the same mistakes twice. Sometimes it happens, but
Yes.
But it's all a learning process. With any business, if you're trying to get into the clothing business, you should learn the business of clothing, or how to maneuver around it, so you're not one taken advantage of. So yeah, whether you're in the independent game or with a label, you have to see how it can benefit you and weigh out the positives and the negatives.
Yes, I think that's very informative, and also, I think it's help up clarify, or just like give some sense of direction and stuff, like, because I understand every people have their own needs and sense of what they need, or like what it needs to take, like Thai an artist to an international scale, for like a rapper, for you, for example, for you yourself, to like well known to like international. Does it need to be like really cool in English, or what does it like? What's the elemental kind of?
To tell you the truth, I don't even know, because anything could go viral now. You know what I mean? Anything could just go viral for a second. But I mean, to be able to build your fan base, or with any fan base, doesn't matter, Thai, international, regional, whatever. You just got to put out music. You have to put out music that, the fans, that you touch the fans and they can relate to, or they like your music, and you just got to keep being consistent. And, you have to be able to dream those dreams and think that you can make those dreams or goals or whatever, and just push towards that. Nothing's promised, but if you don't try, then you're already like, it's never gonna happen. So, I don't. With me, I don't be like, I'm not like, oh, I have to make it here or make it there, or you just have to do music. I do what I enjoy doing, and I'm blessed that I'm able to do that, but I just keep out putting music, and if I like the song, then it doesn't really matter where it goes. You know what I mean?
Well, that's perfect on because like I, in every podcast I try to find the right suitable name for on each episode, because like Dside is like an aftermath from all the terrible things. So like the last, it's a D also, as in Thai, it's like mean good, but I think I would fit you in the words of do, as in like do it, but because like do it as in Nike and Jordan, but also I felt like you are the man of the words and do like what you wanted to do. So any last, like maybe any suggestions? I don't say advice, because I felt like everyone have their own way, but like what make you wake up and be able to keep doing what you can in these trouble situations?
Well, ever since I was like a kid, I lived by this thing where I used to, always say every day, right? I never want to have like a boring day. So ever since I was a kid, like I would like my sense of adventure, just wanting to experience new things and learn new things. So yeah, I'm open. I'm open to things, I'm open to listening to people. I'm open to experiencing things. that are like going places. So, and that's just with music. As long every day I wake up and I just like, I create music, or I might do like production, or help my kids with this, or help my wife with like the kids' clothing line. So I'm like always constantly creating, and that just makes me, that drives me every day, because I don't feel like it's working. I feel like it's something that I want to do, and I get up every day and I'm happy to do it, So that's where it starts first.
Yes. Well, to wrap things up, I think this is a very good message. Like, you're doing something you're happy, and also take care of your loved ones. And I think here as an example, you can achieve what you can, but also with all people you have to support. So thank you, Mr. Way, or Daboyway. It's been very informative, and also I think it's clear out to many young artists who want to succeed or carry out the things that their passions, and after or during COVID or disaster. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Okay, thank you for everybody for listening, checking in. Peace.
Yes. All right.
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ